G'day guys, how's it going? I'm Aaron Whitnall, this is ACWSport, and the thing to take away from week 6 of the 17-18 season for me is that Liverpool, Arsenal, United, City, Chelsea and Tottenham all won. Is this the start of where those 6 really break away from the rest of the Premier League and start to show there's a massive difference? Because obviously that is where they've got the most money and the superstars of the Premier League. Or will it be tight, just like it has been in recent years, with a few upsets along the way in terms of where teams can finish? Please comment below, let me know what you think on that. But I'm going to start, in terms of my review, with the London derby between West Ham and Spurs. Safe to say, individual mistakes cost West Ham dear. To find themselves 3-0 down was a bit awkward at home. Great fight back, though. We're unlucky maybe not to equalise. Potential late push on Carroll in the box. Maybe should have had a penalty. But there's only one major player that I want to talk about from this game, and that is Harry Kane, because you have to wonder, how far can he go in his career? All right, coming into this game, we know he loves a goal in a London derby. And when you look at his record against West Ham, which is now 7 goals in 6 games, that's pretty awesome. He was very unlucky to not get a hat-trick here. Of course, scored a brace, hitting the post twice after scoring twice. And when you look at his record compared to some of the world's best, it makes you wonder just how much of a talent Harry Kane is and just how much of a talisman he can become for not just Tottenham, but also England in the future as well. Starting with his record compared to Cristiano Ronaldo when he was in the Premier League. He's already 2 goals off of where Ronaldo's goal-scoring tally from when Ronaldo played in the Premier League, but he's played 74 games fewer. Now, I know Ronaldo was more of a right winger than he was a striker, but you've got to remember how good Ronaldo was in the Premier League, especially in his last few seasons. So, that's a massive statement of intent there. And when you look at Kane compared to all of the other strikers in Europe's top 5 leagues right now, his record is phenomenal. Because in 2017, he scored 25 goals in 23 games. No other player, bar one, has managed to do that. Only Lionel Messi has scored more goals than Harry Kane in 2017 in the same amount of games, and he scored 34. Now, it's clear to see that Kane's still got a fair way to go before he's Messi's level, but he's outscored Ronaldo this year, which is a massive, massive thing. So you do have to wonder, where is Kane going to go with his career? Comment below, let me know. Do you think Harry Kane is world class, and where do you think he stands among the world's striking elite right now? But yeah, great win for Spurs at the weekend. Moving on to Manchester City, who continue their destructive reign of terror on the Premier League, scoring another 5 against Crystal Palace, who are still yet to win and yet to score so far this season. Now, they actually started fairly well, Palace, and had a few half chances, and then City thought, all right, we're not going to let you, dominate us in any way. So we're going to stop letting you guys have a chance and blow you away. And that's exactly what they did. Starting with some wonderful goals. Sane, beautiful control, chipping it over the defender and then obviously putting it under the keeper. And then, Sterling getting in on the act, Aguero getting on the act. They just ran right in the end. And, City as a whole look a different side to what they were last season. We know that. Obviously, Palace isn't really like a major test. We're going to have to wait to see what they do against some of the bigger boys. We know they destroyed Liverpool, but obviously there's still some controversy surrounding that game. It's Chelsea next week that I'm looking forward to, because for me, that is the real clash of the Titans in the Premier League. It's going to be one hell of a game, and I can't wait to see who comes out on top in that. But, a lot of City's players look bang on form. Sane's now scored 5 goals from 7 shots on target so far this season, which is brilliant. I said Sterling got a brace. He should have had a hat-trick as well. Potential miss of the season. Missed an open goal there. But, I mean, look, on another day, I know 5-0 looks a bad score, but City could have had 10. They really blew Palace away after Palace's fairly decent start. And even Fabian Delph came off the bench to score a contender for goal of the month. His 5th goal for City since he's been there, and it was an absolute perler on his weaker foot as well. But City have already scored 21 goals this season. So, it makes you wonder how many goals they're going to get. Will they break the 100 mark? I think definitely. But for me, even though I think, obviously, the Liverpool win is a massive, massive result, it's going to be how they do against the likes of Tottenham, United and Chelsea that will really define where their season goes in the Premier League. But I think, to be honest, they will be more focused on the Champions League than anything else this season. So we'll wait and see. But one thing that I find really interesting is that when you look at how well City have done, like they've just become the first team to score 5 or more goals in 3 consecutive games in Premier League history, which is amazing. But they still have less points this season than they did at this stage last season. So it's weird how football works sometimes. But, let me know, how good do you think City are? Are we maybe blowing them out of proportion when you look at some of the opposition they've played by Liverpool in the last few weeks? Or are we right bang smack on the money that these guys are really, really going to go far this season? For me, a team that I see as more of a threat than City at the moment are Chelsea. Now, I know that obviously Chelsea lost to Burnley on their opening day. Every team has a bad day at the office. But they've been a machine since that game. Grinding out results, and now they're really starting to purr. And you know what? As much as people look at Stoke away being a really tough game, Chelsea love playing Stoke. They've actually beaten Stoke more times, or Stoke, have lost to Chelsea more times than they've lost to any other opposition in the time they've been in the Premier League. So, yeah, Stoke is actually a nice ground for Chelsea to go to. And it really was this weekend. Alvaro Morata with a hat-trick, was unlucky not to have 5, really. But he really is starting to remind me of Ruud van Nistelrooy. A very different kind of striker for Chelsea. But just look at his technique when he's running and the way he was finishing his goals. Really, really Van Nistelrooy-esque. And if you've got a player like that, you're going to be in the title race because he was a phenomenal striker. And I think Morata can really grow to be a phenomenal striker for Chelsea too. And probably without the controversy that Diego Costa brought as well. But yeah, Morata's now got 6 goals in 6 games, and he became the 17th Chelsea player to score a hat-trick in the Premier League along the way. So yeah, great result for Chelsea. Real statement of intent there to go to Stoke and win 4-0 and make it look as easy as they did. Manchester United, well, they picked up a very solid win at Southampton. Comfortable 1-0. I say comfortable. Southampton had a few half chances, but that was about it. But the things to take away from this is, again, United got Lukaku on the score sheet. That's 8 goals in 8 games for him in the Prem. He looks to have settled very, very well for Manchester United. But it's how disciplined United were. Look at Mata and Rashford in the highlights of that game. They're the ones tracking back and making tackles back in their own box. And you can just see Mourinho has really started to get them playing the way he loves his teams to play. That's what makes me wonder if City going on throughout the season have that toughness about them. And that's why I'm waiting for a real challenge, or for them to have a bit of an off day. Because, all right, you could say they grounded out a result against Bournemouth, but they were very lucky to have all that added time put on. So, they're just a few of the things that I would wonder about the kind of main title contenders moving forward in this season for me. So, yeah, good result for Manchester United. Lukaku banging form, Joes will be very happy with that performance. I think he was unlucky to be sent off, kind of pathetic decision for me, and you can see that in the fact the FA have decided not to give him any discipline whatsoever there. So, yeah, you can just kind of write that off as a bit of a weird one. Liverpool got back to winning ways. They finally won after not winning in 4. But, again, it's a game where it just shows how poor they are at the back. They beat Leicester 3-2 at Leicester. Coutinho back on the score sheet. Wonderful free kick. He's now scored 16 goals from outside the box since he arrived in the Premier League. That's more than any other player in the Premier League in that time. So quite impressive for Coutinho there. Jordan Henderson scored his first away goal in a year to get the points for Liverpool. But you've got to question Liverpool's defending again. Mignolet, for that penalty, probably should have had a red card, to be honest with you. I thought it was an abysmal tackle. And the fact some people have put him in their team of the weekend absolutely blows my mind, because I thought it was a really dodgy performance from him. Vardy for me is a cracking player, and the fact that people have said that he's a one-season wonder's a load of rubbish. I've said this before. He got his 6th goal in 4 games against Liverpool. It's his 5th goal of the season already, and you can see that he just loves playing teams like this. Frailties at the back. You can see why. A great day for a striker. But all right, the penalty wasn't his best. All right, he's gone down the middle his last few. Mignolet had done his research. Credit to him. But for me, Vardy should have had an opportunity to redeem that, because for me, when Chan handled Gray's cross, that was a definite penalty. But look, we can kind of move beyond that now. Liverpool have picked up the win. A very important win for them. Eases some of the pressure on Klopp. And if they win in midweek, hopefully that will really get their season back on track and get them challenging for the top 4 again. Although after the last few weeks, I do think it will be Tottenham that edged them out for that 4th place. Arsenal picked up a very comfortable win at against West Brom at the Emirates. I say comfortable. It was comfortable in the second half. The first half, West Brom were very good and were very unlucky to not have a penalty and maybe have Mustafi sent off for his foul in the first half within the opening 10 minutes. So, West Brom will count themselves unlucky. Lacazette on the score sheet, doing the double for Arsenal. Great start for him in Premier League life. Gareth Barry made his 633rd Premier League appearance, which breaks Ryan Giggs' record. Gareth Barry now has more appearances in the Premier League than any other player in Premier League history. Congratulations to him. And yeah, you know, that's kind of the main thing to talk about from the Arsenal game. It's just a fairly standard what you'd expect to see from Arsenal in a game of that magnitude. Everton got a much-needed win against Bournemouth. Niasse coming back from his loan at Hull. The forgotten man rescuing Koeman for me. Because if Everton had lost that, and they probably could have, really, they had some real individual errors in there that Bournemouth should have made the most of, but didn't. And that's what's cost Bournemouth in this game. But a big win for Everton might ease the pressure on Koeman there. But again, it's a result that I expected. I said 2-1 in my prediction, and I got that one right. Swansea versus Watford. Swansea have now lost their opening 3 home games at the Liberty for the first time since that became their proper stadium. As for Watford, they've won their first 3 away games for the first time in their history. And you can see that despite the City game, Silva's management skills are really starting to pay off for Watford. Great away result for them there. The other kind of 2 games, again, not really too much to talk about. That's why I'm not really highlighting these games too much. But Brighton versus Newcastle, I thought it was a fairly even game. Tomer Hemed's goal is the one that separated it, but he could potentially now be banned for 3 games after a stamp on Yedlin. Brighton fans, let me know how you think that'll impact your season, because he's been so key to it so far. And then Burnley and Huddersfield drew 0-0. And that's about everything to say about that game. So, yeah, that pretty much sums up everything that I have to say on Week 6 of the Premier League season. What were your major talking points of the Premier League season? Please comment below, let me know. As always, please subscribe to ACWSport for football videos, and I'll be back in a couple of days with my review of Week 2 of the Champions League season. So I'll see you guys soon.